During the Cold War, because of Japan's alliance with the United States and due to the threat posed by the Soviet Navy, the Japanese Navy, or more correctly, the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force, was primarily tasked with an anti-submarine role and organised its ships into anti-submarine warfare flotillas. Since the end of the Cold War, the Maritime Self-Defense Force has continued its focus on anti-submarine warfare, but has also undertaken broader roles across a wider area, including dispatching destroyers on a rotating basis to the Indian Ocean in an escort role for Allied vessels as part of UN-led operations, and conducting exercises with the Indian Navy. Today, its focus is very much on China and operations as far south as the Strait of Malacca and as far west as the Second Island chain. To satisfy this operational requirement, the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force has developed a large force of very capable area air defence ships, general purpose ships, and conventionally powered submarines, and is one of the largest navies in the world. Recently, the Maritime Self-Defense Force has begun introducing longer-range ship-launched standoff weapons and is to introduce carrier-based aircraft. G'day and salutations. Today's briefing, the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force, today and into the future. How capable is the Maritime Self-Defense Force now, and what will it look like in 2030? This briefing will examine the vessels and fixed-wing combat aircraft that make up the Self-Defense Force in 2024, and will look at the likely ORBAT of 2030. I'll begin with the service combatants, then cover amphibious vessels and replenishment ships, and finally, submarines. The principal service combatants of the Maritime Self-Defense Force anti-submarine warfare flotillas are the helicopter-carrying destroyers, or multi-purpose operation destroyers in Japanese terminology, but in reality are helicopter carriers, the newest of which are the Izumo class. They began entering service in 2015, and before their modification had a tapered bow and could only operate helicopters. Post-modification, the Izumo class has a squared-off bow together with other modifications, and are now STOVL carriers that are capable of operating the F-35B STOVL aircraft. They have a length of 248 metres, a displacement of around 26,000 tonnes, and can operate 28 aircraft. Prior to the Izumos, the largest combat vessel in the Maritime Self-Defense Force were the Hyuga class helicopter carrying destroyers, which in reality are anti-submarine warfare helicopter carriers. Entering service in 2009, they have a length of 197 metres, a displacement of 19,000 tonnes, and can carry 18 anti-submarine warfare helicopters. Supporting the aircraft carriers are general purpose and air warfare destroyers. The oldest of the general purpose destroyers are the Asagi class, which entered service in 1988, with the two oldest ones now converted to a training role. They have a length of 137 metres, a displacement of 5,200 tonnes, and are equipped with 8 surface-to-air missiles, 8 anti-submarine warfare missiles, 8 anti-ship missiles, 6 lightweight torpedo tubes, a 76mm gun, 2 close-in weapon systems, and a helicopter. This class are likely to be replaced by a newer version of the Mogami class frigate in the 2030s. These were followed by the Murasame class, which entered service in 1996. These followed the Kongo class air warfare destroyers with the installation of VLS cells, but in 2 separate banks, each for anti-air and anti-submarine warfare missiles. They have a length of 151 metres, a displacement of 6,400 tonnes, have 32 VLS cells, carry 8 anti-ship missiles, 6 lightweight torpedo tubes, a 76mm gun, 2 close-in weapon systems, and a helicopter. An evolution of the Murasames were the Takanami class, which started entering service in 2003. Based on the Murasame class, but with the 2 VLS banks now co-located, they also mounted the larger 127mm or 5-inch gun instead of the 76 found on the earlier general purpose destroyers. They have a length of 151 metres, a displacement of 6,400 tonnes, a 32 VLS cells, 8 anti-ship missiles, 6 lightweight torpedo tubes, the 127mm gun, 2 close-in weapon systems, and a helicopter. Continuing the gradual evolution process of the general-purpose destroyers, the Akizuki class entered service in 2012. Based on the preceding Takanami class, but with more powerful engines, they have a length of 151 metres and a displacement of 6,800 tonnes. They are equipped with 32 VLS cells, 8 anti-ship missiles, 6 lightweight torpedo tubes, 127mm gun, 2 close-in weapon systems, and a helicopter. The final evolution of this process is the Asahi class, which entered service in 2018. Based on the Akizuki class, they have a length of 151 metres, a displacement of 6,800 tonnes, and again equipped with 32 VLS cells, 8 anti-ship missiles, 6 lightweight torpedo tubes, 127mm gun, 2 close-in weapon systems, and a helicopter. A critical element in the Maritime Self-Defence Force's anti-submarine warfare flotillas are the air warfare destroyers. The oldest in-service vessels being the Hatakaze class, which entered service in 1986 and are now used for training. They have a length of 150 metres, a displacement of 6,100 tonnes, a single launch rail but carrying 40 surface-to-air missiles, 8 anti-ship missiles, 8 anti-submarine warfare missiles in the form of the AVSROC system, 6 lightweight torpedo tubes, 2 5-inch or 127mm guns, and 2 close-in weapon systems. Realising these were inadequate for the air defence environment, the Maritime Self-Defence Force purchased the US Aegis system. The Maritime Self-Defence Force currently operates 3 classes of guided missile destroyers as part of its Aegis Afloat program. The first of which was the Congo class, which entered service in 1993 and was the first non-US ship equipped with the Aegis combat system. They have a length of 161 metres, displacement of 9,500 tonnes, and are equipped with 90 VLS cells, 8 slant-launched anti-ship missiles, 6 lightweight torpedo tubes, 127mm gun, and 2 close-in weapon systems. These were followed by the Otago class, which entered service in 2007. These are a modified Congo class and introduced a hangar for the helicopter. They have a length of 165 metres and a displacement of 10,000 tonnes. They have 96 VLS cells, 8 slant-launched anti-ship missiles, 6 lightweight torpedo tubes, 127mm gun, 2 close-in weapon systems, and a helicopter. The latest and most capable of the Japanese Aegis destroyers are the Maya class, which entered service in 2020. While it shares the same design characteristics as the Otago class, the Maya class possesses a larger hull to allow for the installation of a hybrid electric propulsion system. These have a length of 170 metres and a displacement of 10,250 tonnes. They are equipped with 96 VLS cells, 8 slant-launched anti-ship missiles, 6 lightweight torpedo tubes, a 127mm gun, 2 close-in weapon systems, and a helicopter. Supplementing the destroyers are the smaller surface combatants, the oldest of which are the Abukumu class destroyer escorts, which entered service in 1989. They have a length of 109 metres and a displacement of 2,600 tonnes. They are equipped with 8 anti-ship missiles, the Harpoons, 8 anti-submarine warfare missiles, the AVSROC system, 6 lightweight torpedo tubes, a 76mm gun, and a close-in weapon system. Note they have no air defence missile system. These are being replaced by the Mogami class. The Mogami class frigates started entering service in 2022 and will eventually be the only non-destroyer element of the anti-submarine warfare flotillas. Notably, they have a high level of automation, resulting in a crew of only 90. They have a length of 133 metres and a displacement of around 5,500 tonnes. They have 16 VLS cells, 8 slant-launched anti-ship missiles, 6 lightweight torpedo tubes, a 127mm gun, a point defence missile system, and a helicopter. Moving to amphibious assault vessels, the Osumi class are called landing ship tanks but are more correctly referred to as landing pad docks or LPDs. Entering service in 1998, they're capable of launching 2 landing craft air-cushioned or LCACs and operating the CH-47 Chinook helicopter and MV-22 Osprey tilt-rotor aircraft, but they have no aircraft hangar. They have a length of 178 metres and displace around 13,000 tonnes. Supporting the surface fleet are the AORs or underway replenishment ships. These ships provide underway replenishment of fuel, ammunition and dry cargo to the anti-submarine warfare flotillas and other surface forces. The Tawada class entered service in 1987, have a length of 167 metres and a displacement of 12,100 tonnes. The most capable of the AORs are the Mashu class, which entered service in 2006. They are an enlarged and improved version of the Tawada class, have a length of 221 metres and a displacement of 25,000 tonnes. Finally, moving to submarines. Japan has, for many decades, invested a great deal in conventionally powered submarines. The current force consists of the Ayashio class, which entered service in 1998, with the 2 oldest now used for training. They have a length of 81.7 metres and a displacement of 4,000 tonnes. The mainstay of the submarine force is the Soryu class, which entered service in 2009. They are an evolution of the Ayashiros and are Japan's first air-independent propulsion submarine class. However, the last 2 are equipped with lithium-ion batteries, replacing the AIP system. They have a length of 84 metres and a displacement of 4,200 tonnes. The successor to the Soryu class is the Taiga class, which entered service in 2022. Heavily derived from the Soryu class, they have further evolved the use of lithium-ion batteries, removing the need for the AIP system. They have a length of 84 metres and a displacement of 4,300 tonnes. So the Japanese Maritime Self-Defence Force fleet in 2024 and 2030 might look as follows. In 2024, 4 aircraft carriers, 2 STOVL and 2 anti-submarine warfare helicopter carriers, 38 destroyers, including 2 of the Hatakaze, which are in a training role, 8 Asagiris, 9 Murasame, 5 Takanami, 4 Akizuki, 2 Asahi, 4 Kongo, 2 Otago and 2 Maya. And in terms of frigates or smaller combatants, 5 of the Mogami and 6 of the Abukuma. 25 SSKs, including 10 Ayashios, 12 Soyuz and 3 of the Taigays. 3 Azumi landing pad dock amphibious assault ships. 5 AORs, 3 of the Tawada and 2 of the Mashu. And a fixed-wing combat aircraft complement of around 34 of the P1 and 35 of the P3C maritime patrol aircraft. By 2030, there will be no change to the aircraft carriers, so still 2 STOVL, still 2 anti-submarine warfare helicopter carriers. Still 38 of the destroyers, but with the 2 Hatakaze class being retired, but with the addition of 2 Aegis system-equipped vessels, which are a proposed pair of ballistic missile defence warships to be operated as dedicated sea-based ballistic missile defence platforms, equipped with 128 VLS cells, a 127mm 5-inch gun and a helicopter. 10 or possibly 12 Mogami-class frigates, around 24 conventionally powered submarines, still the 3 Azumi-class landing helicopter docks, the same 5 underway replenishment ships, and a fixed-wing combat aircraft complement of perhaps 60 of the P1 maritime patrol aircraft, although that could be less as they are replaced by UAVs, and at least 25 and perhaps up to 42 of the F-35B Lightning stealth STOVL fighters. However, note these will be operated by the Japanese Air Self-Defense Force and not the Maritime Self-Defense Force. Now, these would be joined by other support vessels including patrol, mine countermeasure, cargo and medical. In summary, the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force has quantity and increasing quality across both the submarine and surface fleet. These vessels include some of the most technologically advanced in the world. This is particularly true for the submarines, which are routinely retired from service ahead of schedule and replaced by more advanced models. It certainly lacks the AORs, or underwater replenishment ships, to sustain operations far from the Japanese homeland, but this is not its raison d'etre. It is important to note that the Maritime Self-Defense Force will not be operating alone in defence of Japan's interests, as the US would not allow Japan's survivability to be put at risk because of its critical role for the US in terms of containing China, with such support covered by the Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security between Japan and the United States of America. Beyond platforms, a significant aspect which many overlook is the quality and quantity of the training that the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force does, in particular with the United States, but also with Australia. Understanding this level of training allows for a more sophisticated assessment of the Maritime Self-Defense Force's capabilities beyond a simplistic look at platforms. The Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force is fit for purpose, retaining a strong anti-submarine warfare capability, being enhanced with long-range strike capability, including by aircraft, but understandably without a power projection capability. The Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force should not be underestimated. That concludes today's briefing. Thank you for watching. Happy to take suggestions for future briefings from subscribers, so please subscribe, like and share. Until next time, Vale de Cero.